Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from the Agonist, Days Before the World Wept, out October 15th on Napalm Records. This release has 5 tracks, 23 minutes in length, and this is the band's first EP. They are a Canadian melodic death metal band. Now when I look at these 5 songs, I see some things that hold them together and I see some things that break them apart. In terms of holding them together, you gotta look at the drums and the consistency of heaviness that is coming from that side of the soundscape. The drums are so heavy across all 5 tracks, it's undeniable, really creating the foundation for all 5 songs and allowing the tracks to have a much larger footprint, being more robust all around, even pushing it a little bit and allowing the songs to have a sense of explosion, a sense of growth within the tracks themselves. On the other side, you also have consistency coming in from the vocals. Not to say that the vocals sound exactly the same from one song to the next, because they don't, but the execution is not the same. The thought process and how you bring them into the forefront, the planning behind of what you're going to do with the vocals, that stayed very consistent throughout all 5 tracks. You see the usage of choirs, backing vocals, the way the cleans and harshes work one off of the other in order to create ebbs and flows, in order to contract and expand the song. That is very consistent on every single track. Once again, the execution changes, but what's behind that execution stays very uniform from top all the way to the bottom. Then what separates these tracks is the uniqueness that they have. The uniqueness that they have in their construction and the uniqueness that they have in their sound. When you look at how these songs are constructed, how they are built, there's no 2 songs alike. All of them have their own fingerprint, all of them have their own DNA, all of them are very unique in their own manner. When you look at the soundscape, same thing. There's no 2 songs that sound alike, that feel alike, that take you in the same direction, that take you on the same journey. Each track has its own journey, each track has its own appearance, each track has its own delivery. But the uniqueness of the songs is a little bit muddied up by the things that become consistent, allowing this release to be eclectic, to be diverse, to showcase you 5 different sides of the Agonist, but at the same time allowing you to feel like it all belongs together, it's all part of a much larger picture, which is Days Before the World Wept EP. Now as far as these 5 songs are concerned, let's start off with Remnants in Time. Great piano opening that is absolutely phenomenal the way this song starts. Great intro also for the whole release, but for the song itself is just outstanding. Then the drums come in, really heavy, really thunderous. The guitars are a little bit more melodic. They allow themselves to drive the experience of the song ever so slightly, almost walking away from the heaviness that the drums have. And then you have this backing vocals choir that just creates an incredible atmosphere throughout the song. So when you add that, when you add the piano, when you add the heaviness of the drums, when you add the eclecticness of the guitars, you have a song that feels very cinematic from the beginning all the way to the end. It has different momentums, it has ebbs and flows, incredible solo section. A song that's constantly moving, that's constantly morphing, that never feels that stays stagnant, that never feels linear at any given time. And then closing off with clean vocals and the piano is magnificent. You go full circle, you allow the song to have a sense of beginning, middle, and end. Perfect track to open up this EP. Next you have Immaculate Deception. Great drum and guitar combo. That's really the force, the motor behind this track, is the combination of these 2 elements. It feels a little bit more direct in the verses, moving with purpose, with intent. Vocally, the track is very dynamic, and then it feels like it adds some layers as it's moving along, and Vicky really deploys her complete range on this track. Immaculate Deception becomes more about her voice and what her voice is doing throughout the overall experience than it does about the song itself. When it gets into the chorus, the track becomes a little bit more technical musically. Vocally, it's still very dynamic. A track that offers a lot of different sides, but vocally, that's what you move to. This is a track that keeps you engaged with it because of what Vicky is doing. Her complete range is on display on this song. You see everything that is happening is led by the vocals. They're really leading the experience. The music is in the background. The music is a backdrop to what she's doing vocally. And then the way it finishes with the brutality of the drums and the brutality of her voice, absolutely brutal death metal to close off. I didn't see it coming. It's a track that has always something different around the corner, and as far as vocals are concerned, is an absolute roller coaster ride. Next, you have Resurrection, a very driven song with ups and downs, a track that evolves both musically and vocally. Vocally, I felt that this was a very super strong song all around as well. There's a lot of layers to digest, not just from a vocal perspective, but overall, it's a very layered track. The guitars and drums build the path together. They really work in parallel or sometimes blended with one another in order to create the roadmap, which allows everything else to navigate on top, more so Vicky's vocals. They really navigate on top of the road that's been put together by how strong the guitars and drums are together. Impressive song vocally as well. She really opens up the book. I mean, she did it already in Immaculate Deception, but then she takes it even a step further into this track in terms of the beauty that she brings, the different atmospheres that she creates, all the different nuances that she adds to the song. It's not just about using one style or another, it's also what you can do with your voice and the atmosphere that you can add to a track in order to really enhance the overall experience that's happening behind you musically. Next, we have Feast on the Living. Great tempo. This song really comes at the listener, specifically in the verses, with the harsh vocals switching on and off. I love that. I love that. They come in, go out, come in, go out, with the clean vocals kind of leading the path or building the groundwork for the track itself. The chorus is very cinematic. It's very explosive. You have harsh vocals with choirs behind it. You have a great solo section that follows. Then the song really becomes a little bit more direct, a little bit more to the point, but a track that never loses its intent, that never loses its aggression, that never loses that drive, that force that really comes at the listener at every single turn. I just love the more direct approach, and also the length of this song allows the song to feel a little bit more direct all around. It's not an overextended track, it's a shorter track, and because of that, adding to the dynamics of the song really makes this more of a punchy track that just comes at you with a lot of intent, with a lot of aggression. Last but not least, Days Before the World Wept. I love the acoustic guitar opening, and then I love the transition to a much heavier, demolishing sound, really led by the guitars and drums, packing a punch, packing a lot of volume, and pushing the song forward. The bass, the progression that moves from those acoustic guitars into that heavier portion as the song gets underway, there's a little bass portion there that's really cool, sounds magnificent, and really helps bridge that gap. It helps the transition be a lot smoother. The harsh vocals fit into this track perfectly. They fit with the overall heaviness that the vocals have and the heaviness that the song carries. The clean vocals create a little bit of inflection points throughout the song. When the clean vocals come in, they don't come in just to break the routine of what you are getting from the harsh vocals or the heaviness that the track have. They also come in to create a little bit more of an atmosphere. They add a little bit of a somber vibe to the overall song. Vicky's tone and delivery really brings that somberness to the forefront. The song becomes slightly darker, not necessarily from a soundscape perspective, but definitely from the atmosphere, from the organic vibe that it gives. Her voice is phenomenal. When it gets into those clean vocals, she goes into another plateau. She takes it into another level. So it's a track that's really well built, that has a lot of brutality, that has a lot of aggression, and it masks it a little bit with those clean vocals. Those clean vocals allow the brutality, allow the aggression of this song to dissipate at times, to flat out at times, to be a little bit more hidden within everything else that is happening. But this is a magnificent song. You really finish off the EP on a strong note, musically and vocally. This is it, the Agonist, Days Before the World Wept, out October 15th on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on this release, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.